Yo, what is going on, my husbandos and waifus? My name is HERMSAUR, and welcome to another review of Black Clover. This is episode number 3. Now, this episode was the aftermath after Yuno and Asta have received their grimoire. Of course, Asta getting his grimoire in a unique way. Now, this is them training to be able to take the magic test, or some type of test that they have to take. Now, this is the test that they have to take to become one of the magic knights who is ordered around by the Wizard King. Now, here's a couple notes that I received from the previous episode, from questions that I asked you guys, because I felt like it was important to know this part, and I wasn't too sure of it because I'm only watching the anime versus reading it. Now, people were saying that it's perfectly placed with the manga, and there are some people that are saying that it was too slow paced, and I can understand both sides. It's always important for a lot of manga, because a lot of manga readers are usually the ones that don't like it when an anime is too fast paced, because we tend to miss a couple important details here and there. And I can understand people who are just watching the anime that feels like it's just too slow paced. For me personally, I felt like it was slightly too slow paced. There was a couple things that could have been removed in the first episode, and even in this episode that could have just been completely cut off, but of course they added it in there. But you know, it is what it is. One thing that I also forgot to add in the previous reviews is that the opening of Black Clover is absolutely phenomenal. It's actually one of my favorite openings this season, besides of course Food Wars. The opening there is really good, but I'm talking about the music in itself. I love the music in this one. And right when we get started into the opening of the anime, even before the opening song, we see that there's this big fight. Upon telling the story of the Wizard King, we see the Wizard King fighting against this huge monster, and that animation is absolutely amazing. It's brutally awesome. When I say brutally awesome, is because we could see how the town is being destroyed, while at the same time we get to see all the cool effects of how the Wizard King was able to take down this monstrous beast. Now let's get into the actual juice of the episode. First things that we see is we see a lot of the training between Asta and Yuno, whether they're in the church training or they are out into the forest, into the woods to adventure over into the capital city. At the very beginning, I thought, okay, his screaming kind of lessened down, and then I even wrote that in my notes, like, screaming toned down. And then it said, never mind, because he did start screaming a lot more towards his competition with Yuno. And you know what there's a couple things that bothered me about this episode, is the fact that everyone in this town definitely feel like Asta is going to fail the test, the magic test. And you know, I don't blame them, because of course Asta has no magic at all compared to Yuno. Everyone's like, Yuno is fine, but you know, Asta, you can always come back. It's fine if you fail, don't be embarrassed. But it kind of sucks, you know, like, it's okay to humble someone down, but at the same time you kind of want to lift them up. I felt like this whole episode was just bringing down Asta, and it just kind of made me sad. Even that little boy named Nash, I absolutely hate him towards the end, when he actually finally gets to watch Asta train, and he sees Asta's strength. He really puts his faith into Asta, which is really nice to see. But at the same time, it annoyed me, especially that the father, the one that watched Asta and Yuno grow, has no faith in Asta. At the same time, he's like, you know, it's because I miss him. But you could kind of feel like, I just hate that everyone's just downing Asta. The only people, or the only person that I feel that actually believes in Asta to become a magic knight is the sister. The sister that, you know, Asta has a big crush on. At that point, like, I felt like just because how they were bringing down Asta a lot, I kind of felt like I started hating this anime little by little, and I didn't want that, because I really like this anime so far. Though the discouragement that Asta's getting is kind of like putting me off, I'm not gonna lie, because I've gotten a lot of that in my past. So seeing that, I was just like, oh, come on, man. Asta's really trying, but I love that Asta's turning that negativity into positivity. He's turning that negative vibes that he's getting from all these other people to push himself to go further and to prove them wrong, and I really like that. And it was very cool to see Nash put all his faith into Asta, because he's saying that we're poor, we're nobodies, but if you do it, then I will actually believe that I can do it as well. That was cute. Also, we get a little bit of flashback of how Asta was the reason why Yuno got a lot stronger, because he protected Yuno from that one time. One thing that I have to commend Asta in, because Yuno, for me, Yuno has absolutely no personality. He's one of the most dull characters so far. But Asta, on the other hand, we see a lot of optimism, we see a lot of courageousness, we see him trying to push himself further than what people think he can do. As I see, Yuno is extremely overpowered, whereas Asta has brute strength, but he definitely falls back a little bit. Even we could see Yuno kind of keep up with him in terms of strength when it comes to racing and this and that. I have to commend Asta for his optimism, because if I was brought down as much as he has, I'd be like, man, F this. I don't want no part in this. So regardless, in terms of plot and story, I felt like a lot of it was grinding montage, meaning we just see them training, trying to get to the capital. See, with that in itself, I felt like it could have been sped up a little bit more. I mean, we didn't need to see all of that, but it was cool to see the differences, because the grinding montage, or the montage that they had, was us realizing the differences between Asta and Yuno. But I felt like we could have went a little bit more into when they were in the capital until they took on the test. I felt like they could have went into the capital this episode and then took the test in the next episode. That's just my personal opinion, but regardless, this episode was heavily enjoyable. I thought it was really, really funny. I love seeing Asta ask sister out, but she always rejects him, smashes him down with the holy water, my boy. But anyways, guys, let me know what your thoughts are on this episode. For me personally, I enjoyed it. I liked it. Do you guys feel like this episode was kind of slowed down a little bit, or could they have sped it up, or are you guys fine with the pace so far? Regardless, thank you guys so much for coming through. I got a test in like 4 hours and I haven't slept yet. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I love you guys like crazy. I will see you guys in the next one. Make sure you guys drop a like. Check out the previous videos as well. I've been dropping videos sporadically, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.